What's going on, y'all? I figured I'd go live before I go to bed since everybody's up with the crazy election, and I just wanted to weigh in on it real quick. There's a lot to unpack here, so I'll wait till a few people come in and such, and then we'll begin. It's a lot to unpack here, and and I got my cowboy hat on, I mean business. What's up, Robbie? What's up, Johan? How we doing here? How we doing, fam? What's cracking? All right, a lot of people in here. Obviously, it's a big event, so I'll just get it started. So, a lot to unpack. I'm not even really sure where to begin, but I'll start with perhaps the beginning of this election. There's an interesting scheme going on. It's almost like an evil genius scheme because it's so well done that you're not even allowed to talk about it. So, what I'm talking about, of course, is how big tech, over the last month, they've been censoring anybody who talks about mail-in ballots. If you noticed, if you say anything but mail-in ballots are safe and mail-in ballots are, the best thing ever, they censor you and they won't let you say it. But what they did in New Jersey and California and other parts of Democrat cities and states, rather, they mailed everybody a ballot. So there's mass mail-in ballots. Normally you request one, but they gave out millions upon tens of millions. And then in Pennsylvania, which they're holding up now, they passed multiple rules. One, if it's postmarked for election day, even if it comes in a couple days later, they can still count it. Your signature, this passed in the Supreme Court a few days ago in Pennsylvania Supreme Court. If your signature doesn't match on the ballot, they can still process your ballot. So, of course, anybody can figure out all the ways that this could go wrong. But you're not allowed to talk about it. So obviously this is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like it, but you're not even allowed to notice it's different. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying this is like the craziest election ever. I saw this coming. I said a few days ago I thought Trump was going to win huge, but I thought that they were going to try to drag it out. I know they're trying to drag it out because certain states have the rules set in stone to say that they could count ballots for days. So even if Trump has a huge lead, I knew they were going to drag it out. Pretty much that happened exactly. Like Trump was, landsliding, and I'll get into it in a second, but if you look at betting websites, because the media, Fox News is terrible, worse than CNN today, you would think that Trump has a 0% chance of winning. Like I went live a few hours ago on Facebook, and everybody was freaking out, and I was like, what are you guys paying attention to? I understand it's a close election, like you shouldn't be too confident either way, but betting odds websites like Bovada and OddsShark and all these, people are betting millions of dollars. So before the election, Trump was a huge underdog. He was like a 30-point underdog, like 65% to 35%. It actually flipped, and still on those websites, Trump is a huge favorite even to this second. For the last 4 or 5 hours, Trump has been a massive favorite on almost every betting website. He went from, it's almost like a 60-point swing from being down 30 points to being up 30 points. He's still a huge favorite because all he has to do is win Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and he's leading in all those states, North Carolina, which they won't call, and he wins. He has the clearest path by far. But if you watch Fox News, which is worse than CNN, literally, Fox News is officially worse than CNN, which I never thought I'd say, but I'm watching it and I'm like, this is literally worse. It's like a concerted effort by big tech. You're not allowed to question what's going on. You have to admit and think that, it's so normal for, votes to be counted for 3 days. That's totally normal. And if you disagree, you're crazy. And then you have Fox News telling people they're acting like Trump has no path to victory. And it's like crazy that he could even... Every odd site has him up massive because the path is very clear. He won Florida. He looks like he's going to win Georgia. But what they did is crazy, and I've never seen anything like it. They just paused the votes. It's one thing if it takes you a long time to vote. I'm not going to tell you have to rush. It might take you hours. It might take you over the course of the night. But in Georgia, they gave two excuses. In Georgia, they said there's some sort of leak. They gave some sort of physical error, like it's a leak and we got to stop tomorrow. No votes got harmed, but we'll figure it out. And then they gave a digital error. They said that the machines were malfunctioned and they'd pick it up at like 10 a.m. or something. So they gave an excuse to halt the voting in Georgia. Why is that noteworthy? Because Pennsylvania is one of the most corrupt states, and Trump wouldn't need Pennsylvania. If Georgia went for Trump and they finished the voting today, Georgia, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and it's over. You don't even need Pennsylvania. But because Democrats control certain cities, it's like they just stopped voting. Literally, like they stopped counting votes. They're like, we're done for today. In Philadelphia, they were way behind schedule. They admitted it, and they just said, we'll start back up in the morning. Why is this a problem? Do I want them not to count the votes? No, it's actually the opposite. I want them to count the votes. I'm like, what are you doing? Just keep counting the votes. Like, we need people working through the night counting the votes, because I don't want them to count for days, not because I'm trying to suppress someone's vote, but they have the craziest laws in Pennsylvania. They have mass mail-in ballots they send out to everybody. You don't have to mark, your signature doesn't have to match on a ballot. So how do you know if it's an authentic ballot? Usually one of the ways is voter ID in certain Republican states. When I voted in California, I didn't have to show my ID. I had a mask on. I could have voted for anybody. If I would have known their address and their name, I literally could have voted for any one of my friends, and they would have never questioned me. So you don't do ID. Another way that they usually check is signature. Your signature has to match on the ballot. They're not checking signatures. It passed in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. So Pennsylvania is wildly corrupt. The Attorney General is, interestingly enough, named Shapiro. And the Shapiro Attorney General of Pennsylvania, he declared Biden a winner of Pennsylvania days ago. He said if all the votes are counted, Joe Biden's going to win. He's supposed to be in charge of the election, and Trump is landsliding Pennsylvania right now. He's up 12, 13, 14 points. He's up in Wisconsin. They said he was down 10 points. He's doing exactly what I thought. The polls were a lie. The media is a lie. Big tech is a lie. They all lie in unison, hoping they can mind control people into control. New York Times said earlier today, they said, we determine the election. The media does, not you, the media. And then they retracted their statement because everyone was like, who do these people think they are? They don't. The New York Times does not decide who wins. It's whoever counts the votes, Democrat or Republican. So this is crazy, but it's exactly what I thought. But at the same time, I was hoping it just didn't happen. I'm like, I need Trump to landslide, or else they're going to drag this out and they're going to try to cheat. And then they're going to say, you can't say they're cheating. So Trump is seemingly landsliding. He's doing very well. And they paused the vote. They paused the vote in Georgia. They paused the vote in Pennsylvania. And because they paused the vote in two of those states where Trump's leading, you can't determine the election. Those are two important ones. So Wisconsin's probably going to go Trump. Michigan's probably going to go Trump. But we're not going to have it in today, probably tomorrow. He's still, regardless of what they say, Trump is a massive favorite on betting odds, but people don't even know this. They're like, I thought he's losing because CNN says he's losing, Fox News says he's losing, Fox News is calling, states for him, but they're not calling certain states. He's up 85% of the votes and 90% of the vote, and they won't call it, and then they call Arizona when it's 70% of the vote, and he's got a closer margin. The consistency's not there, but they're just hoping people allow them to do this. So I don't think they'll be able to cheat it. I'm not saying they will, but it's all a very interesting strategy. It's mass mail-in ballots. Last time, if you don't request a mail-in ballot, they don't give you one. I wanted to vote in person, but they sent me a mail-in ballot. They mandated, this is crazy, this should be illegal. They mandated that every single person gets sent a mail-in ballot. So it's not hard, in my opinion. You could find tens of thousands of people who don't get their ballot or keep it or whatever. And now you can, essentially you have days to turn it in. It's ripe with fraud, or it could be ripe with fraud, but they're not allowing you to even say or suggest that it is. Very interesting. It looked like Trump was going to win today without Pennsylvania, and then they paused Georgia, which he needs to end the election. Now they're saying they're going to find votes in Milwaukee. All these Democrat cities all of a sudden just have all these ballots hanging around. It's very bizarre. In certain states, they count the mail-in ballots first. In other states, they can't count them. So some states, they're counting them all. Other states, they just pause and say, you know what, we're done counting. We'll count them tomorrow in the morning. Very, very bizarre stuff. But I would say if you like Trump, I wouldn't be really worried. I think what he said made a lot of sense, but I see it both ways. I exactly know what he's talking about. I think he's right. But then the people are like, oh my God, he's declaring victory, this and that. But it's this fine line that there is with the president where if he does nothing, they'll get away with it. But if he goes too hard, everybody thinks it's like, oh my God, he shouldn't have said that. But I get exactly what he's saying. I mean, he was up in these states, and they're not calling him. It took so long for them to call Florida. He's up 12 or 14 points in Pennsylvania. It's going to be very statistically nearly impossible for him to lose Pennsylvania. He's probably not going to lose Wisconsin. He's probably not going to lose Michigan. He shouldn't lose Georgia. He shouldn't lose North Carolina. They should count all the votes, but they're stalling. And they're stalling for a reason, because they are allowed in North Carolina, and are allowed, if you look at the law, in Pennsylvania. This is not normal. This is not usual. In many states, you got to count them and then, put them in on election day. In North Carolina, they can have a week, literally a week to count the ballots. Like if they find a ballot, say they find a ballot on a Saturday, but the ballot's postmarked for Tuesday, they can count that ballot. They can count 10,000 ballots like that. They could count 100,000 ballots like that in Philadelphia, even if it doesn't match the signature. This is so obviously a scheme that could be wildly blown out of control. I hope it doesn't, but this is why we're trying to get them to count the votes now. Count the votes. Count the votes. They don't want to count the votes. They're stalling, because then they can look at how many votes are we down. Are we down 100,000? How and they could scheme, how do we get 100,000 votes? How do we make up that odds? I hope they don't. I don't want to accuse people of cheating, but this is so obvious what they're doing. And I saw this coming. I was seeing the numbers. I'm like, Trump's going to win Florida. He might win Pennsylvania. He's winning most of the battleground states, but this is what it was always going to be. It was going to be, how many votes is he going to win by? How long are they going to stall? And social media wants you to think that this is normal. It's normal to count till 1 a.m. It's normal to count till 2 a.m. It's not normal for Georgia to say that they had a leak and a digital error and they're going to pick up counting for tomorrow. It's not normal for Philadelphia to say, we thought we were going to be further ahead in the count, but we're not, but we're going to stop and we'll continue voting tomorrow. It's not normal to say, let's count votes for 3 days, even if they don't have a signature on them. It's not normal to say, well, let's count them for 7 days if they're postmarked for today. So this is totally not normal. They know exactly what they're doing. And because of the way they're doing it, no matter how red the state is, whether it's North Carolina, Michigan, Pennsylvania, you have certain Democrat cities. That's where a lot of the votes are. Philadelphia, Detroit. So these are run by Democrats. And this is their scheme, is to do this type of stuff and act like they're not doing it. Sit back and say, hey, we're just, don't suppress us. Don't suppress our votes. And no one wants to suppress your votes. Get them all in, but count all the votes. Why would you stop your vote? But I'm telling you, the reason they stopped the vote in Georgia and Pennsylvania, they're so sneaky. If either one of those votes counted all their votes tonight, Pennsylvania or Georgia, you could call the election for Trump. But if you pause the votes in Georgia and you seemingly pause the votes in Pennsylvania in certain areas, you can stall, and now Trump has no path to victory, even though he does. But if you look, I'll tell you, look on Bovada, go to electionbettingodds.com, go to OddsShark, go to any of the mainstream Pinnacle.com, any of the mainstream betting websites. President Trump is a 2-1 favorite, and he was a 2-1 favorite down yesterday. He was 65-35 in Biden's favor. Biden was 65% chance of winning. Trump was 35% chance of winning. It flipped. Trump is like a 65 to 70% chance of winning even now. And the craziest part, before I leave you guys, and I'll answer a few questions and I'll see what you guys are saying. The crazy part about all of it is I'm not saying that Trump is 1,000% going to win. I'm not saying Biden's 1,000% going to lose. But what I am saying is it's clear that Trump has been the favorite for at least 3-4 hours. And it's not hard to see why when you start seeing the states that are falling his way and he's a favorite in, like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Florida. But the media is like a mind control system. And I hope people know how bad Fox News is. I didn't realize, I knew Tucker Carlson was cool. I watched CNN. Fox News was worse than CNN today. That's a big statement. They were worse than CNN, more subversive, calling states earlier, not calling states for Trump, trying to tell their conservative audience, the millions of people who watch them that are Republican, and act like they don't know what they're talking about. Like Trump's crazy for saying what he's saying. Like, there's no possible way he could win. Like, people are on my live stream like, you think he's a favorite? It's like, I know he's a favorite because betting odds can be wrong, but they usually have a better scope on as far as like what the percentages are. Like if, for instance, if you bet on the Clippers versus the Lakers, if the Clippers are up 20 points in the fourth quarter, the odds get really skewed. It doesn't mean they're going to win, but the reason they're so skewed is they're up 20 points. The chances of them are losing are very low. It's the same with what's going on with Trump. He's up by a lot, maybe not on the Electoral College, but with all the votes that are frozen, 93%, 94%, and they're not trying to count them, because if they count them all the way, he's going to win. So either they're stalling just to stall, maybe it's for ratings, maybe it's just to try to delegitimize it and make them look crazy, and then they're going to go to court or the Supreme Court, I don't know. Or it's to stall so they could try to figure out how to make the difference and how much they're down. And that's where betting odds come in. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but it means Trump is ahead, and all the betting websites know it. Because if you look at his path to victories right now, he has multiple. Even if he lost Georgia, I don't think he will. Even if he lost Georgia, if he wins Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, it's game over. If he wins Georgia, if he wins Michigan and Wisconsin, he doesn't even need to win Pennsylvania. But they're so corrupt in Pennsylvania, I'm like, man, this is great. We're going to win tonight anyway. He's going to win Michigan. He's going to win Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, he's going to win Michigan. He's going to win Wisconsin. And then he's going to win Georgia. And then all of a sudden they freeze the votes in Georgia. This is like genius level strategy of how to, convince people that he has no chance when literally he has like 4 different paths to victory. And Biden has one. Biden needs to win Georgia. He needs to win Pennsylvania. He needs to win one of the other states. I mean, he's down 16 points in Pennsylvania. He was down in Georgia 2 points. There's barely any votes left. He'd have to get like 3 and 4 to 1. And, it's possible depending where the votes are going to come from, but I don't think they're very confident. I mean, being down that much in Pennsylvania, he was a 10-point underdog in Wisconsin, and he's winning by 4 or 5 points. These are 15-point margins. Guys, I told you if you watch my YouTube channel why polls are fake and stupid. They poll 700, 800 people on a landline. They push a narrative that they want to push, and they think that they control the country. They're like, we tell you who wins. It's like they don't want the votes to matter. So that's what's going on. Trump's still a favorite from when I made this video. His paths to victory are very obvious. They froze the vote in Georgia. They froze the vote in Pennsylvania. And they censor and silence anybody who suggests that they could possibly cheat. When obviously, when you mass mail-in ballots to everybody. This has never been done before, guys, in the history of our election. We've never had them. You can get a mail-in ballot. If I request a mail-in ballot, I can vote by mail. If I say I'm voting in person, they don't send me a mail-in ballot. I vote in person. That's how it's always been. They don't just send a ballot to every single person. That's crazy. And that's what they did in multiple states. And then you don't have to match your signature in Pennsylvania, and you also could send it in 3-4 days later as long as it has the postmark. In North Carolina, it's over a week that they can count the votes. This is like insanity, but they've been priming you for it. You've had big tech telling you for weeks. When you log in Instagram, they say, hey, we're just letting you know it's going to take weeks to count the election. When you log into Facebook, they say it's going to take weeks to count the election. When has it taken weeks to count the election? This is not normal. Maybe besides the Bush-Gore Florida thing, which was sketchy, this is like totally abnormal that you'd have to wait weeks for an election. So that doesn't happen very often, if not ever. And they told you that, they told you that, they told you that. They set it up. They set up the voter schemes and the mail-in stuff and the week counting. And then they did it. They did exactly what they've been setting up. So it's not surprising. I guess it's just, I would say, a little disappointing that Trump didn't win bigger. And I feel like he's right, to be honest. I understand it's not over and you can't claim victory, but I'm looking at it 2 hours and I don't want to celebrate earlier, but I'm like, his path to, like, it was like 2016 all over again, where every state that they want, Hillary's going to win and Biden's going to win Florida. Biden's going to win North Carolina. Biden's going to win Georgia. Biden's going to win Texas. Texas went to Trump. Florida went to Trump. South Carolina went to Trump. North Carolina was going to Trump. Pennsylvania was going to Trump. Michigan, Trump won almost every single battleground state. Ohio went to Trump, and 90% or so around that of people who win Ohio always win the election. Trump won almost every single battleground state, 50, 60, 70%. He's leading by 10, 15 points, and then they just freeze the election. This is crazy, guys. This is insane. And then even Fox News is trying to act like Trump's losing or he has no path, because when he wins a state, they freeze it. And when Biden is like, California, he wins. It's like election over, even though it just started. And then, other elections too. It's like, oh, he's close, he won. But when Trump's like 95% of counting, they're like, we're not going to count. Trump has the lead, whether they want to admit it or not. He's up on every betting website, and it's such a subversive tactic that they're doing. It's insane. Someone said they only froze the votes in Democrat-controlled states. Not just Democrat-controlled states, Democrat-controlled cities. The Attorney General of Pennsylvania is one of the most corrupt in the country, but if you even say Wisconsin, I don't know if it's Democrat or Republican, but who controls Milwaukee? Who controls Detroit and Michigan? You get what I'm saying? Democrats control Georgia's red, but who controls the counties that are holding it up? Where were the big mistakes? Where did these things happen? Where are they slowing down? Democrats have control in cities, even in Republican states, and that's where they act like we're suppressing the vote. All we want are the votes to be counted. It's like, just get them counted. Don't stall for days, because I wouldn't want a Republican to stall for days. You think I would want Mitch McConnell or Trump or, one of these Republican senators to say, hey, let's count for a week? Like, I wouldn't want them to do that either. It's obvious how you could, manipulate that to your advantage. That's why, like, everyone votes. This is the beauty of it. You all vote, and then all the votes get counted, and then nobody can cheat, because, like, oh my God, I thought I was going to lose. I thought I was going to win, but I lost. But if you can count over a week and say, well, I'm down 400,000, but don't worry, we're going to count Philadelphia over the course of these 3 days. And what do you know? Now we have all these mail-in ballots, and we can count any mail-in ballot that has the right postmark, even if your signature doesn't match. And we mass mailed out ballots to every single person, so there's millions of ballots out there, and there's probably tens of thousands of ballots, if not hundreds of thousands of ballots, that no one ever got. You get what I'm saying? You don't get a mail-in ballot unless you request one. But Democrats mandated that everybody gets sent them. Even I voted in person, I got sent a mail-in ballot. I shouldn't have got sent a mail-in ballot because I'm not voting by mail. So they did this to people, one, to try to garner more votes, but also now there's all these ballots out there, and they have multiple days to send them in. And they could see how much they're down. How much are they down in Georgia? How much are they down in Pennsylvania? This has always been the scheme. I've seen it coming from the jump. I thought Trump would landslide and it wouldn't work, but he did, and they did what I thought they couldn't do. They paused the vote. They stopped it, but this is always the game, and social media won't even let you talk about it. But I'm going to talk about it and see what happens. I don't really care. That's the truth. And, it's not right to call the election, but I understand what Trump's talking about. They are doing this, and it's done so sneakily that even like Fox News is trying to deceive their own people. All right, I'm gonna read a few comments and I'm gonna get out. Someone said, "What's up with Tito Ortiz?" You gotta ask Tito. I think he ran in Huntington Beach for city council, and I think he won. So you gotta check his page, but I believe he won. Congratulations. Someone said, "Anomaly, you're the best." So I appreciate it. And the Senate looks good. The Senate looks like it's going to stay Republican. And the House, it's going to be hard to flip, but it looks like Republicans are doing better in the House than they did last time. So we'll see what happens. Yo, y'all, if you're going to stand outside, Scott, hold on. Yo, guys, if you're going to stand outside, don't be acting crazy. I got to, hold on a second. Yo, if you guys can be outside, but you gotta be somewhat quiet on the balcony. Hold on. Sorry, people be acting crazy outside. I got a suite for everybody. I got a hotel suite, and they're out acting like degenerates and loud and stuff. But it's not like, I'm not trying to be like a Karen or a grandma, but they're just being too ignorant. All right, let's see. Will I move if Biden wins? I'm not moving, but. Oh, Tito's, let's see. Yo, Tito, if you want, he said, one is all I get. Tito, if you want to come in the live stream, let people know what's up. I believe you won, but I don't want to say it if I'm not sure. If you want, request in the live stream, and I'll hop you on right here. We'll have a convo. Let's see if we can get Tito Ortiz on here. Let me see. Let me see. I'm gonna try to send you one if you want to come in. Let's see. I'm going to try to do it. Let's see. Is this it? Is this how I do it? Oh, he said I won. Yeah, all right. Come in the live stream. Do a request. I'll see, and I'll add you. Let me see. See all. How do I do this? My thing's not working. Maybe you can't do it. Oh, there we go. Sound work.
There we go, Dreamer.
Yo, what's good?
Hey! Yo, baby, what's up?
How you doing? You won?
I won it. I'm in number one right now, but they got some good extra votes to count, but it's okay.
You're like
10,000 number one.
It's top. How many get in? Top what? Top 3 or top 5?
I'm number one, baby.
Yeah, your number. It don't matter. You're blowing
Yeah,
everyone
top
out. But how
three.
many people make it to the? How many people make it to the out of the
Uh,
that group? Top three, and you're number one.
That's cool.
Congratulations.
You know what?
That's
You know what?
epic.
It just shows the grassroots people can make a difference. That's what it's all about. And I cannot
Mm,
believe that Trump has waited
that's
long.
epic, man. And that's
We're waiting for
yeah.
the
What do you think's going on tonight with the Trump stuff? What's your take on it?
You know what? It shows that Democratic Party is like trying to take control. But you know what? Trump is gonna win it. He'll win by
That's
280.
right. I feel good about it.
I do too.
I feel good.
I feel like
I
he
feel
might
good about it. And
out of me.
Nevada's gonna
what was
turn.
that?
Nevada's gonna turn red. Watch. We
I
tried
think
in
so.
California, but we couldn't make it happen. But you know what? Nevada's gonna turn red, and we're gonna win all this. And Trump's gonna be our president once again 4 more years.
I think so, and I think the Senate's looking good, and I think even the House. I was doing the count. I mean, it's a stretch, but I think even the House could possibly flip red if all these people who are in the lead now stay in the lead. That would be crazy, but take the whole thing.
Wouldn't that
We'll
be
take the whole country.
beautiful? Oh my God! You know what? All the work you've been doing for the last this whole year, it's all gonna pay off. Let's make it happen.
Man, that's it. All right, well let's celebrate sometime this week or next week or something. Congrats
All
on
right,
the.
cool. Well, you're welcome. Come out to Huntington Beach. I got you. Everything you got. I mean, I got you, brother.
All right, it's on.
I appreciate your support, man. You've been a good man. You've been a good dude. Good patriot for our country. And it's been important because you know what? A lot of people are confused. But you know what? They're uneducated. But hey, I love them all. It's all right. They'll get educated as we keep continuing to educate them. Hit them with facts.
Hit them with facts. If we could keep, as long as they don't cheat Trump out here, we got 4 years to shift the culture. You're starting, you're taking office, and I feel like we have so much good energy on our side too. Like the left used to be fun with like George Carlin, like that used to be like liberal, and now they're no fun. You can't say anything. They're not funny anymore. So I feel like we got 4 more years of this with the culture. We got fighting, we got UFC, we got music. We're gonna take over the culture.
Hey, at the end of the day, it's all about love, brother. It's all about love and having compassion for other people, and make sure that you control the rest, that we love them and they love.
That's it.
Community, man. It's a community that we come together. If people want to be racism stuff, it's not true. You know what? Treat everybody like the way we want to be treated. It's important. Very, very important. So
that's it.
That's the way I've been raised, so it's important.
Man, I bet you're on cloud 9 tonight. You put in the work, you put the vision in, and then took not even the 3rd spot, the number 1 spot.
Oh yes, sir. Number 1 spot. It's been long. It's been two months, 3 weeks, and 4 days. I've been nonstop doing just the grind on the district, one after another. Like knocking on doors, having party after party. Not even party. I'll take that back. Meet and greets, as they say.
Shaking babies and kissing hands.
Yeah, shaking babies and kissing hands, as we say. But you know what? Been doing great. You know what? We are a red city.
Yes, we are.
And I wish a red state, but we're not. But it's okay.
I think
hey, you know what? Trump's gonna win, and we're gonna be great. So one city at a time.
That's it. Well, I'm about to log off now. Congratulations. We'll connect later this week, and we'll keep an eye on the Trump situation too. Hopefully that all gets settled in the morning.
Hopefully tonight it'll be done.
I hope so too. I'm staying up. I don't think I can fall asleep.
All right, brother. You know what?
Have a good one. Thanks for joining me. You as well.
Jesus Christ, take us over always. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Thanks for joining me, Tito. Congratulations on the win, and we'll keep updated. Hopefully this election settles out soon. I'm gonna go check the results, but that's my take on it. Appreciate y'all. Have a beautiful night, and I'll be back in the morning. Hopefully we have results then.